Hello, this is Shane from PSP Sports. I'm here with Shane McGuigan.
How you doing, mate?
What do you think about the Murray-Groves fight?
It's a great fight. It's a great fight for us at this stage in George's career. You know, I think our objective when we started working together was to win a world title. This isn't. It's not even a final eliminator. But I think it's going to be recognised by all the champions out there and all the governing bodies. And I think if George does a number, which I believe he can, on Martin Murray, it's sending out a massive message.
Someone's obviously got to lose this fight. So whoever does lose this fight, what happens with them from then on?
I think that, Martin's had 4 world title challenges, 3 at middleweight, 1 at super middleweight. He's got a draw. He had a bit of a dodgy decision in Argentina, and he pushed Abraham's close. Obviously, he got completely outclassed by Golovkin, and George has had 3. One on a split decision, and the other 2 everyone knows about. Carl Froch. So they're both massive names. They're both still out there, still present in the mix, and I believe the loser's obviously going to be Martin Murray. But I still think he'll have big fights out there. And he can always be in and around the mix, maybe challenge James DeGale or somebody like that, or Callum Smith. But I think it's an exciting fight for both fighters, and one that they're both massively up for. They both got a lot of respect for each other, and I think it's going to still fight the night.
Obviously, in the build-up to the Carl Frampton quick fight, you and Eddie Hearn had your differences. How's your working relationship now?
I don't work with him. I work with George Groves. George Groves is on his show, so I'm pleasant to him, but I train my fighters, and if they're on a matchroom show, they're on a matchroom show.
Okay, then. So obviously, it's been announced that Carl Frampton will fight Leo Santa Cruz. How's training camp going for that fight, and how's Frampton feeling about the fight as well?
He's really excited. Obviously with the Leo, I don't know if you know, but Leo Santa Cruz's dad has his cancer. I think it's stage 3 cancer, so he's had an operation over these last few days. So the press conferences and stuff like that have been put on hold. But the rumor is that he's getting better and he's on the mend. So we'll have our press conferences soon. Carl's he's flying already. He's back to it and enjoying his training again, because before a lot of it was stressed around making weight, and to make super bantamweight it was taking a lot out of him, and or just more from a mental standpoint. He could do it physically, but it was very draining, and it made him frustrated and not enjoying his boxing. So the fact that he's got a new lease of life, going up to featherweight, got a massive test on his hands in Leo Santa Cruz. This is going to be the fight that the Scott Quigg fight wasn't. Carl was willing to fight at all stages with Scott Quigg, but Quigg was he was fearful. He wasn't coming out of his shell. It was something that Leo Santa Cruz he doesn't have fear. He's a very brave man, and he's going to throw punches from the first bell to the last. So it's going to be an extremely exciting fight, and it's going to be one that Carl's relishing. You can see in training, and he's just excited. He's buzzing about it. He can't wait to have a real good tear up.
Okay, obviously, David Haye won his second fight back, and it was a KO, and a pretty easy fight, if we're being honest. What do you make of that fight for David?
I think George, clearly wasn't at David's level. We all knew that. But I thought he would have posed a little bit more of a test when David hit him with that first shot. He was badly hurt, and then he hit him a little right hook, and then he stepped back, feinted, and threw a 1-2, dropped him. And I think after that, after those first few shots, he wanted out. The fact is that there's only a few heavyweights in the world that's going to be able to test David Haye, and to get to that, every fight's going to be a blowout. Until then, I truly believe it, and he's still a phenomenal fighter. And hey Derek, how you doing, mate? You good?
Best trainer in the world, right, fellas? Yeah.
So no, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard for him to get tested until he steps up in class. And once he steps up in class, he's going to show people that he's still there, still active.
So obviously, the next fight for David is going to be Shannon Briggs. Are you not worried about that fight, about Shannon Briggs maybe getting to his head before the fight, and the power that Shannon Briggs carries as well?
No, I'm not worried about him getting into his head. He's had Derek Chisora, screaming and shouting at him. He's had the whole whole of the Klitschko's, that whole build up to the Klitschko fight. He's had massive fights. Shannon Briggs is, he's obviously past his best. But as you said, he's still dangerous. He can still whack with either hand, and David can't overlook him. That's the only thing for me, is that David doesn't sort of get up for it. He has to really get up for this fight, because Briggs can take a good shot, and he's gonna have to get himself fit, and just go out there and put a show on. But I think David's gonna knock him out in 3 or 4 rounds.
Okay, well, thanks for talking for PSP Sports, Shane. It was nice to interview, and good luck for the fight night.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers, Shane.